Look at coaches. I mean, you get rid of Doug. Doug won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Say what you want to say. You at least get a 5-year pad if you win a Super Bowl. He's going in 3.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Meaning there's nothing else like going on. But I'm saying as far as the big sport in the NFL right now, this is where we normally are looking at the draft.
Right.
And we're still kind of held hostage about what the Jets or what the Texans or what other teams can do, because if you trade for a quarterback, that could change everything in the offseason dynamic.
Oh, no doubt about it. But this is why I thought that the idea that I floated a couple of weeks ago about the day or two after the Super Bowl being the day that everybody can start hiring new coaches would give us this 2-3, would fill this 3-week void that is post Super Bowl February, which is one of the slowest times, if not the slowest time in the sports world, outside of maybe mid-July, right around that All-Star break.
Well, the combine, just like, just on the comments, the combine is supposed to be starting this week, actually.
Yeah.
And this kind of messing everything up with the pandemic. But, just the mere fact that we didn't have enough football to really evaluate these players, and now we're going to trust going out and not seeing a combine and them going out and drafting these guys. This
That'll
could
be
tough.
Great for Howie Roseman.
Right. It's hard enough, not being able to see him.
Right. The more data he had, he screwed it up.
Right.
It's almost like your picks aren't worth as much because you don't have as much knowledge of what you're taking in a weird way.
The quarterback from North Dakota State, Trey Lance. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, he didn't play this year. And you're supposed to,
that's going to
really
be the pick.
Rely on a quarterback to do that. I mean, it's almost a must that this team has to trade down, get more bang for the buck as far as getting more picks in the draft, because they have so many holes that they have to fill. So many holes.
They're drafting a quarterback, Barrett, no doubt. They're staying at 6, maybe even moving up.
And that'll be selfish of Howie if he does that, because that means he's tied with this quarterback another 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Exactly. It resets the clock.
Yeah.
You got a new coach.
It gives him added life.
Yeah. Well, that's what we've been talking about here for a while, which is why Howie Roseman has the best, the deepest job security in all of sports. Like, I don't know anybody else who has
a damn shame we talk about
security than Howie Roseman.
Yeah. Well, you know why he has it though. He has the job security because the owner wants to be involved in football, and he's fine with it.
Look,
the owner's like, hey, I'd like to make a draft pick here in the 3rd round. Can I do that, Howie? Yeah, go ahead. I'll take JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Oh, good job.
We're still having this conversation. That's the biggest problem in all of this, is that people still wake up, they go to Twitter, they put out some GIF, and they say, Howie Roseman is the biggest problem of this football. Like, you're still talking about that, and you're still not addressing the owner, and not you specifically or personally, Jason. I'm saying in general, like, people are still on step 1 of this conversation, shocked that Howie still has a job. What the hell are people paying attention to?
No, I mean, you're right, Eitan. It all does.
Somebody be.
It all, comes into Jeffrey Lurie's lap, if you will. But I think the reason fans are like that is because they know they can't get rid of the owner. They feel like maybe if they can yell and scream and stomp their feet long enough and loud enough that the owner will listen and get rid of the problem. They know they're not getting rid of the owner. I mean, they're maybe they get it rid of the owner in Washington. If Bezos can move him out of there, and Washington football team fans can get rid of Dan Snyder for once and for all, but it doesn't happen.
But that's different too. That there's a cultural issue there and all kinds of systemic issues behind the scenes in Washington. Yeah. And the NFL could facilitate that as well. That's not the NFL loves Jeff Lurie.
Sort of like Sterling, in a way out with the Clippers years ago.
Exactly. Yeah. They forced him out because he's bad for the league.
Hold on. People were trying to get rid of Donald Sterling for decades. For nearly 20 years.
But once something got public,
I know it's very hard to do. Is
always public. Like it took that woman V, whatever her name is,
Stiviano.
That's a great pull by you. But Jason, like this guy, it was public already. He was a slumlord. He and his wife already, with the practices they were having in their buildings alone, and the treatment that tenants were getting, and that's just one small element of it. And then David Stern refused. Like they refused to budge on him. But it took something like that to where it was like, okay, dude, we can't protect you anymore. Look at what you're saying and stuff. So you're right, where you can't fire an owner. But then I look back and I'm thinking about, how serious can I really take somebody if they're constantly bitching about something that they know or should know by now is not the real problem? It's like politicians. The politicians work for people, and I hate to break it to people out there, but they ain't you and me who they work for.
No.
And they're there in order
agenda.
They're there in order to remove one layer of blame and finger pointing. Because if I can point the finger at Cuomo or Cruz, I don't have to worry about the people bankrolling them.
Well, because it's tough for me really to go in and say, all right, Jeffrey Lurie this, Jeffrey Lurie that. I mean, he gave me my shot in the NFL. I was his first drafted offensive lineman.
Players love him.
I love Lurie. I still love Lurie, but I can't get past what's going on as far as the front office and how things are being run there, and not necessarily how the organization itself is being run, but the quality of players that they're allowing to come into this locker room is just not. It's not fitting, of somebody that's competent to pick these players out. I mean, these guys can't play. They can't play. Yeah. Allie. I mean, you're bringing in guys that can't play. I mean, period point. What's his name? Whatever his name was.
Pumphrey.
Yeah, Donnell Pumphrey. Donnell Pumphrey never played an NFL snap.
Yeah.
He never even got on the active roster.
The fourth round, I think, right? Yeah.
In a running back draft class that was insane. There were running backs all over. Remember that year?
Green Bay got two.
Cook. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Green Bay got two.
Yeah.
And we got Paul. Man, come on, man. That's ridiculous. I mean, when you're starting to bring in players that, that just don't, they're just not hitting the mark. Say what you want to say. In the second round, I understand, the quarterback situation, but I mean, if you want to help a quarterback, you bring him in weapons to help him.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't bring him in a guy to replace
Justin
him.
Jefferson.
Well,
and you protect them.
Come on, man.
2 second-round picks in not back-to-back years, I don't think, but J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Sidney Jones.
Yeah, terrible.
One guy's not on the team anymore, playing. I think was he in Jacksonville last we looked, and then the other guy hasn't given you nothing.
Well, go back, Eric Rowe. There's draft picks all over.
Rowe went on to play for New England for a few years.
But he couldn't play here.
Right.
And he's in Miami now playing, isn't he?
Who's the kid out of West Virginia, the D-back out of West Virginia? He was the safety in
Douglas.
Yeah, Rasul Douglas.
He's playing right now in with the Panthers.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
He's starting
during
starting
Schwartz's tenure.
Yeah,
there was a lot of players that couldn't play in his defense, but went on to play in other defenses.
He's literally starting.
It's kind of bizarre
for the Panthers.
Rowe was good for the Patriots.
Yes, won a Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls with him.
Leave here. That's the thing, and that's why it's going to happen with coaches. It's going to happen with players, and the owner. I disagree that the people want out of here, and players have wanted out of here. Coaches have wanted out of here. People just did turn down money in order to not come back here. I think
it wasn't a popular destination for high profile head coaches.
No, it's not going to be a high profile destination for any free agent or anybody who has the.
It used to be.
Choose. Well, yeah,
it used to be. Like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, you say what you want to say. Alshon, when he was a free agent, he was the number 1 ranked wide receiver in free agency the year that we picked him up. We acquired him. He was the number 1 guy coming out.
Year though for wideouts.
What is that?
Let's be fair. That was a down year for wideouts.
I'm just saying at the time he was the best thing going. Best thing going.
If the next best guy was some dude that we never heard of, then but even now, like you couldn't get a middle of the road guy to come here.
No, absolutely not.
To come here and play. And that's what I'm saying. Like, think about other organizations Detroit, let's say in the NBA, the Pistons, for example, nobody in their right mind would want to go play for Detroit. That team is just awful right now. They're not going anywhere, and they're a long ways from going anywhere. And you couldn't pay somebody, even like we saw with Austin Hooper and the Browns 2 years ago. So if you have the Eagles already with a general manager who has zero reason to still be there and is still in full total control of an organization that's moving in the opposite direction, I don't know if you can find that right now in sports. I don't know if you can find that combination in sports right now.
And you touched on the biggest problem, Eitan, is when you can't draft and develop talent, and then you're not a destination that players go, oh, I want to play there because of X, Y, all these reasons. And the only way you can get players to come here, exactly, right? And you're in a cap hell right now.
You couldn't get him, like Barrett said, that year, and he was the biggest. You couldn't get somebody like that.
Right.
No. And the thing is, and Barrett, you played, you know this. Players are not oblivious to how they treat players, and when they see a Carson Wentz leave, that sends up red flags to players going, why is that dude leaving already? No, they just gave him the contract. Why is he asking out? That's a red flag.
Look at coaches. I mean, you get rid of Doug. Doug won the Super Bowl 3 years ago. Say what you want to say. You at least get a 5-year pad if you win a Super Bowl. He's going in 3.
Yeah.
Come on now. And you don't think he's not talking to people?
And also, what happened with Groh? He goes into a press conference. Yeah, he's fine. And then the next day they make him fire him. He looks like the fool.
Right.
And people know that's not him.
Right.
They're not oblivious to that fact.
Man,
they know that this little weasel in the front office is the puppet master sitting on the lap of the owner.
It's a great word, weasel.
Well, the other part too. And then you got these guys like Ian Rappaport and Shefty carrying the water of this GM.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in Schefter because he's so.
I expected that a rap sheet.
Yeah, I do too because he's a dweeb.
He's a weasel.
But Shefty, he is on that payroll and sucking on that teat hair.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What was that, Eitan?
No, it's like verbatim. It's like he's reading a text.
Yeah.
From how I can't listen to Adam Schefter talk about the Philadelphia Eagles without hearing Howie Roseman. And here's another thing too. It's very difficult for me to believe that this is the only team that he's doing this with. Mm-hmm. So for all of these great reports and all this insight and inside information, if one side and it's constantly the front office, you're a parrot or puppet for the front office.
Yeah, it's quid pro quo.
Right.
You give me the trade, I give you I message you.
That's it. You'll never be critical, anything along those lines. I don't even know if those
sources are telling me that the Eagles and Howie Roseman are doing a great job. Mm-hmm. Yeah, stop, dude. You're treating us like we're done.
Schefter.
Yeah, you kind of morphed into a little Trump there.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
I noticed that too.
Do that again.
Sources are telling me. Yeah. Trump's a little more. I don't need to.
There's also a little bit of Bill Murray in Caddyshack.
We're doing great. We're going to do great things. Yeah. You know why we're doing great things? Because I'm great. We're great. Everybody's great.
So I guess if you enunciate the T a little more, that's the difference between Trump and Schefter.
Schefter's got a little more shush in his delivery.
And that has more of the Carl Spackler character in Caddyshack.
I'll get a gopher.
All right, we'll take a quick one here. Got to wrap the hour coming up next. It's The Middle, phillyvoice.com/The Middle and SportsMap Radio.
The Middle.
That's what I told you, man. I got a hangover, man. So
what is this hangover?
Yeah, what's with this hangover?
Right,
what happened yesterday?
Cheap vodka, bro. Cheap vodka, man.
What?
Well, I took pineapple vodka with the pineapples, and I infused it for like a week.
That's too much pineapple.
Pineapple is terrible.
It was so sweet that you would just keep on drinking, and I just kept on drinking it.
Did you say you took pineapple vodka and then infused it into pineapples?
Yes.
I mean, there's sorority girls right now at Penn State that are laughing at you, Barrett. He took pineapple vodka and infused it into pineapples.
I thought it would be a better taste, and it was a better taste. It was a great taste. It just went down too fast. Went down way too fast, man. And next thing you know, man, 3 Shades to the Wind, watching Queen Latifah.
Oh, my God. That's the line of the day.
The Middle with Eitan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.